Welcome to our YouTube channel dedicated to exploring the latest insights and opportunities in the world of finance and investments, with a special focus on currency revaluation, gold and silver investments, cryptocurrency, and make money online opportunities, and more. If you're interested in staying up to date on the latest developments in currency revaluation, particularly the Iraq dinar and other currencies, best to subscribe to this channel. Please note that the content on this YouTube channel is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the opinions expressed on this channel are based on our own research and personal experience. We strongly recommend that you do your own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor. Also, just before we go any further, this channel has a weekly giveaway of 100 Dogecoin. To enter, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel, like this video, and watch this video until the end, because if you don't, you will be automatically disqualified from the giveaway. We will be sharing the random hashtag keyword daily somewhere in the video, and then comment hashtag the keyword with no spaces in between in the comment section. Good luck! Now let's proceed with the latest Iraq dinar news and intel today. Please take these pieces of information with a grain of salt, and please make sure to do your own due diligence. If you've been following Iraq's monetary reform journey, you might want to buckle up, because these latest updates are some of the strongest signs yet that big moves are on the horizon. We've got confirmation straight from the central bank's deputy governor on CNBC Arabia talking about gold reserves, the official acknowledgement of the project to delete the zeros, international banking reforms happening in Washington, D.C. with the U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve in the room, and new signals pointing toward a controlled revaluation, not a float. Now, I'm not going to give away all the details here because you'll want to hear exactly why these 4 updates could be the final setup before Iraq pulls the trigger on the RV or RI. So stay tuned, watch the full video till the end, because I'll be breaking down what this means, what's really happening behind the scenes, and how close we might be to seeing it all unfold. All right, let's get into the updates. From Intel Newshound Guru MarkZ via PDK. Great articles from Iraq. The deputy governor of the Central Bank of Iraq told CNBC Arabia that there is no intention to float the dinar's exchange rate. They do not want a wild float, they want stability. Another one, central bank, gold reserves reached 170 tons and an intention to remove zeros from the dinar. They want us to know about their gold holdings. They have increased their gold reserves from 90 tons to a whopping 170 tons. 20% or their total assets are gold, and it is growing. There was probably 50 articles out this morning in effect, saying the same things. And they did say they are intending to remove zeros. What removing the zeros means, Dr. Shabibi, the architect of the RV, told us. He has explained it. It's not a secret. They are not just going to cut off zeros or lop them. From Intel Guru Bruce via Wiser Now. What I'm hearing, I've got a few slightly different timelines. One of our good sources is saying to look for us to get notified Thursday, and then exchanges would follow shortly thereafter. We also had a phone call with 2 of the people in our new Treasury, and they were indicating we're going to get our notifications over the weekend or late weekend, which would be Sunday into Monday. And then we would be setting our appointments up and exchanging early next week. From Intel Guru Frank 26, Iraq Boots on the Ground report from Firefly. Television says there is a buzz with the investors in our country now, because it is now official. Iraq is going ahead with deleting the zeros project. From Frank, the streets of Iraq are happy. The buzz going around your streets, it's also going around the international world. In my opinion, Forex is about to pass out with excitement. From Newshound Guru Militia Man. You should know from yesterday there was hints of good news about deletion of the zeros. Turns out it wasn't fake news. There's a lot of credibility to some of these things that came out, and there's even more of it today to support that. From Newshound Guru Clare, article, Dr. Salah Mahood from Washington. We are committed to supporting the central bank's efforts in banking reform. Quote, Dr. Salah Mahood, advisor to the Prime Minister, represented the Iraqi government at the Banking Sector Reform in Iraq event held at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Washington, D.C., organized by the Central Bank of Iraq in cooperation with Oliver Wyman International. The event was widely attended by representatives of Iraqi, Arab, and foreign banks, as well as officials from the U.S. Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve. From Newshound Guru Jeff. Floating the dinar, not going to happen. Can't happen. Won't happen. The dinar is not going to float. And the phrase removing the zeros has nothing to do with the exchange rate. Zero. Removing the zeros only has to do with the currency itself. It means to remove or phase out, withdraw currency notes with 3 zeros and replace them with notes that don't have 3 zeros. That means a 25,000 note gets replaced by a 25 note. Anything below 1,000 becomes a coin called a fill. From Newshound Intel Guru, FNULNU, Investopedia quote, "A currency does not need to be on a floating exchange rate to be listed or traded in the Forex. Both freely floating currencies, whose value is determined by market supply and demand, and fixed or pegged currencies, whose value is set or influenced by a government or central bank, are traded on Forex platforms. No, a currency does not need to be on a floating exchange rate to be listed or traded in the Forex. I told you long ago the dinar will not float. It would work against the task at hand and be destabilizing economically." From Intel Newshound Guru MarkZ via PDK. Comment. Lots of rumors about today through the weekend. From MarkZ. It's a great possibility based on the chatter out of Iraq. From Guru Nader. From the Mideast. This is my opinion. If they delete the zeros, they're going to put it on Forex 1-to-1, and they're going to let it float from there. It's not going to float at 0.0007. When you see that 1-to-1 on Forex, that means it's floating already. From Intel Guru, Frank 26, Iraq boots on the ground report from Firefly. They have finally officially announced they're going to drop the zeros. We just have to wait when. The news just said Iraq is moving ahead with the deletion of the zeros. They are constantly talking about this all day. They say it will occur sometimes late 2025. From Frank, that's so true, my dear friend. We're done. We've landed. We're on the shore of Normandy. We know we're there. We just don't know when they're going to apply it. As far as the date, that's all that's left. They already told you they're going to give you purchasing power. From Newshound Guru Pimpy, you see an article where they said they plan on removing the zeros. They plan on removing the zeros of the Iraqi dinar currency, but they don't have any plans at the moment to free float the exchange rate. It will not be on the Forex. From Newshound Guru Samson, article, the Central Bank of Iraq has settled the matter. No floating of the dinar and a plan to remove zeros soon. Before ending with the last updates, the hashtag keyword for the 100 Dogecoin giveaway is withdraw. Comment below if you think we are close to the revaluation or the reinstatement of the dinar. You can be the lucky winner if you like, subscribe, and watch the main content of this video. This will be for this coming Sunday's giveaway, and the winner will be announced in one of the Sunday's videos, so you do not want to miss it. From Newshound Guru Militia Man article, quote, Khalaf, there is an intention to remove zeros from the Iraqi dinar to ease the burden of banknote hoarding. This gentleman has been on fire. Here he is again. There is no intention to float the dinar exchange rate. They're not going to float the dinar. They're going to do something different, in my opinion. If they change the value of their currency and reduce the zeros, they're probably going to have an influx of getting that money into the bank. From Newshound Guru Clare, article, after shaking hands with al-Sudani, whoever fulfills Trump's conditions will be the next prime minister. Quote, U.S. President Donald Trump is sending signals to Iraq, waiting for whoever picks them up to be the next prime minister. According to politicians, Washington's calculations differ from the complex internal sectarian and partisan equations, specifically related to disengagement from Tehran. The United States is looking for a government in Iraq that represents Baghdad, not Tehran. And finally, the last update is from Intel Guru Frank 26, Iraq Boots on the Ground report from Firefly. Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Khalaf, confirmed there is no intention to float the Iraqi dinar exchange rate. From Frank, if there's no float, then you're not coming out at $1 because you don't want to be paired to the dollar. You're not going to come at $1.50 or whatever just over the dollar. If you're not floating, then that means you don't have a need to have a vehicle to take you to 322 cents. You're just going to come out at 322 cents as an RI and then RV it without the float. Before we dive into my final analysis, if you've been following these updates closely and you're as invested in this process as I am, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming next, because I'll also be doing a separate deep dive video breaking down how the deletion of zeros could actually play out if Iraq follows the same blueprint that other countries used before their revaluations. Trust me, you'll want to catch that one. All right, now let's get into it. So after hearing all these updates, I've got to say, in my opinion, this is one of the most coordinated pushes we've seen from Iraq yet. Let's start with that banking reform event in Washington, D.C. This wasn't just a routine meeting. This was the Central Bank of Iraq showcasing its progress on a global stage at the Ritz-Carlton, with big players in the room: the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, Arab banks, and even Oliver Wyman International, the same consulting firm leading Iraq's digital banking transformation. You don't get that level of participation unless Iraq is presenting itself as ready to integrate into the global system. What really stands out here is that this event wasn't about speculation, it was about validation. Iraq isn't asking for advice anymore. They're presenting the results of reforms that meet international standards. When you see the U.S. Treasury and Fed involved, that's not symbolic. Those are the same institutions that greenlight a country's readiness for currency convertibility and international banking access. In other words, this was a certification moment. The kind of meeting that usually happens right before a country transitions from a controlled domestic rate to a globally tradable one. Now pair that with the CBI's latest statement confirming that gold reserves have jumped from 90 tons to 170 tons, and that's a massive move. Doubling their reserves over 2 years shows Iraq is making sure the dinar is backed and protected, not just by oil, but by real, tangible assets. Gold represents confidence. And with 20% of their total reserves now being gold, Iraq has given itself the ability to defend whatever exchange rate they choose once the revaluation or reinstatement happens. Then there's the no-float policy. Some might take that as a negative, but to me, that's actually a clue. It tells us that Iraq doesn't plan to let the market decide the dinar's value randomly. They're signaling a controlled reinstatement, a calculated move similar to how Kuwait reinstated its currency in 1991. Not with chaos, but with confidence. Historically, the countries that come out strongest don't float first. They set the rate, stabilize it, then let the market adjust later once everything is secure. And we can't ignore what's happening on the ground. The project to delete the zeros has now been officially announced and discussed publicly inside Iraq. Citizens are being educated, the financial sector is preparing, and even local TV is echoing the same message. That's exactly how every major currency transition begins. First, inform the people, then implement the change. When you connect all of this, the Washington, D.C. meeting, the gold reserve milestone, the no-float policy, and the official zero deletion rollout, you start to see a clear pattern. Iraq has checked nearly every major box that the IMF and international banking community have required for full reinstatement. From my perspective, this isn't about if it's happening anymore, it's about when. So in my opinion, this latest event in Washington could very well be Iraq's quiet green light moment. The phase where the world's financial gatekeepers nod their heads and say, okay, Iraq, you're ready. And when you add in the momentum on the ground, the education, the asset strength, the reform transparency, it feels like we're now watching a country not just prepare, but position itself to execute. And remember, I'll be covering all of this in detail in my next breakdown video, showing you exactly how this deletion of zeros could unfold if Iraq follows the historical playbook. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe, because the way things are aligning right now, I truly believe Iraq is no longer rehearsing. They're setting the stage for the main event. That's my take. That's my final analysis. Furthermore, we posted a breaking news yesterday. Iraq just made a major move that directly ties into the central bank's long-awaited project to delete the zeros, signaling a major step toward monetary reform. Deputy Governor Amar Khalaf confirmed new details that could mark the start of Iraq's transition into a stronger, more stable currency system. While this might sound like just another financial update, it's actually one of the clearest indications yet that Iraq is preparing for the next stage of the RV or RI process. In this video, I explained what this statement means, how it connects to Iraq's exchange rate strategy, and why this moment could represent the beginning of the end for the 1300 program rate. Most people will overlook it, but once you understand what's behind this announcement, you'll realize how close Iraq may be to pulling the trigger. Please go ahead and check it out by clicking on the link on the top right of this video, as you don't want to miss this. Lastly, we will continue to post videos about the recent events and articles supporting the changes taking place in Iraq, so you don't want to miss them. Also, don't forget, please drop a comment below with hashtag and the keyword, and let us know what you think. If you like this content and like to support this channel, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get notified when new videos are uploaded. See you on the next one.